Hello and welcome to 6 of Australian Tytonidae hours, or in English terms, 6 hours that are not true hours, basically. Now, why are they not true hours? Well, they don't go hoot, bark, or basically any normal owl sounds like. They basically screech, hiss, and sound like a kettle or a bomb. Don't ask me why, but that's just how evolution created these beautiful yet nightmarish owls. Now, there are 6 Australian not true owls. Now, these 6 are technically 4, since the other 2 are basically the same, except for some reason those 2 just split off into 2 completely similar owls, but one in North Queensland in their own little pocket, another one is just everywhere. Well, most parts of Australia, so we'll get to those 2. Now, you're all probably thinking, what's the first owl? Well, you're looking at it. It's the barn owl. Basically, everyone knows what a barn owl is, and quite frankly, probably half of you know what a barn owl eats or sleeps or where the hell it lives. So I give you a rundown of the simple basically the simple bits of the barn owl, basically. Anyway, here we go. So barn owls are basically, well, they're owl barn owls. Generally live in the south side of Asia, basically, like India, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, or stuff like that, and parts of Papua New Guinea and the northeast side of the islands surrounding that, and Australia, of course. Basically, it's around the 30 to 36 centimeters in length. Wingspan is your typical 247 to 323, or roughly there. The tail length is about the same about most owls, depending on the owl, and its weight, it's basically pretty light. So yeah, it's nocturnal, but there has been some reports that barn owls are emerge at dusk or dawn. So some reports, but basically it's nocturnal. So yeah, it's basically roost in trees in trees, so that's not surprising. But most of the time, it actually roosts in deserted buildings, or basically similar to the great horned owl, where those 2 have like similar aspects of building nests in or roosting in buildings and stuff for some reason. Don't know why, but probably they just like buildings. The barn owl is basically, well, basically like a ghost, pretty much. Basically, what's ghosts sound like, or made up ghosts sound like, or should I say, because ghosts aren't really real, kind of. That's not important. But they basically sound like mythical shit. Basically, the horror movie. Basically, uh, it's it generally eats mice most of the time. Basically, it's just that's one special. It's basically small mammals, basically, but mostly mice and rats. That's the that's their main prey. There have been reports of um, birds, bats, and other type of small reptiles and mammals and, well, birds, and large insects apparently. So yeah, Australian, or well, I should say Asian binos technically, but mainly they similar to other binos, which is basically nest in hollow trees, caves, and abandoned buildings. Basically the same as their roosting, basically. Uh, their clutch size, or their egg size, is mainly 3, but can up to lay up to 6 eggs, which is quite impressive, by the way. A lot more than the black cockatoos. They have open. They mainly live in forests, woods, and farms, and bush, and basically everywhere they can you can often find them also live near villages and cities. So they're pretty common in Asia, pretty much. So yeah, that's the bar now done. Let's go um to another owl that's mainly on the Australian side and the Asian side. Now the Australian mask owl. The Australian mask owl is basically a very strange owl. Now this has different coloring depending where it is. There's a pale one and a dark one. Basically, it has 2 color schemes. Basically, a binary one and a darkish brown one. So, yeah, depending. Usually, the pale one is more common, but also the darker brownish one is also um, common too, but mostly the pale one, mostly. Now, unlike the barn owl, this one is a lot more bigger and more oomph than the common barn owl, which has several subspecies. Now, this particular mask owl has a tendency to hold this sport, depend has a length between 33 to 47 centimeters. Now that's not that big, but it's pretty big for the time for the not true ounce. It has a longer length and heavier than the barn owl, but females are much larger than the males, which for some reason is quite scary if you quite think it, since males are usually bigger than the females. But in this case, I don't know why the females are larger, but I guess the Australian Moscow, since they basically effort, let's do the females are larger than the males for some unknown reason. But that's just the Australian Moscows. They just do the opposite of every other Moscow. Anyway, the Moscow is, well, the nocturnal, duh. I mean, pretty much every single not true owl is basically nocturnal. But apparently this is a sensitive bird, so not sure why, but if you come across, just be careful. They tend to, yeah, these owls are much more sensitive than the barn owls. Barn owls are pretty chill when it comes to humans. Basically, they grow to accustom to it. But with others, they pretty sensitive or shy or whatever the hell they are sensitive about. Don't know why, but these are, yeah. Anyway, they mostly roost in tall trees or hollow trunks, or apparently caves also, like the barn owl. Pretty much what the barn owl roost also. It's quite similar actually. Actually, most of them are quite similar actually when they roosting, but that doesn't matter. Now, if you watched or listened to the Australian Moscow or my videos or any other videos or websites or sounds, they have a similar sounds but more louder and more hissy power, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It also has a wild crack, like a fire crack at the end, like a quack or something, like a loud crack. Don't know, like a wild crack. Don't know. I don't do it justice, but they have the tend of like a, yeah. They also have a cute trill also, but that I heard that once. So, well, that could be a sooty owl. I don't know. One of those two. They all sound quite similar actually, except for the grass owl. Grass owl has some fun. Anyway, I'm going ahead of myself. Similar to the barn owl with the hunting techniques also. It can hunt up to the size of a rabbit. We have some pretty big rabbits, not very large rabbits though. So mainly about rabbit size. Although I don't know what sort of rabbits they take, but they take rabbits up to the size of rabbits. So take that as a will. Now, unlike the barn owls, they nest in hollow trunks in tall eucalyptus trees. I hope I pronounced that right, but knowing me, I probably just butchered that entirely. So, yeah. They also can nest in rocks, bare rocks, or winds, or sanding caves, but most of the time draw eucalyptus trees. Their eggs are usually 2 to 4, so not as much as the barnyards, but still a lot of eggs. They have dull white eggs, usually from 43 times 49 millimeters. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much that size. I'm not an egg expert, so I don't know how big they is, but it's usually that round size. Usually, fledge is about 10 to 12 weeks old, so yeah, pretty standard stuff for now. You can find this in forests and open wooding with a adjacent with clearing, and in caves also. Now, usually you can find these owls in many parts of Australia, including South Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, north of the Northern Territory, since that's where trees are, and usually around Western Australia, not the desert part, basically. Anywhere that isn't desert, basically. And the lower southern of New Guinea. So, not Papua Guinea, just New Guinea. Although I don't know which is right anymore. It's basically confusing the hell out of me at this point. Yeah. So yeah, and including Dar Islands. So don't know where those are, so I'll have to get back to you on that. So yeah, Australian mask owl, everyone. The Tasmanian mask owl. So this owl is pretty much similar to the Australian, except the females are more brownish than the male counterparts for some reason. So unlike the Australian mask owls, they actually have a specific color scheme to them. So which is very quite strange. This owl is a lot more tall and a lot more beefier than the Australian mask owl for some reason. For some reason, this species of mask owl, of the Australian mask owl, somehow just basically is an alpha male to the Australian mask owl. You thought the Australian mask owl was big, but the Tasmania can basically grow to 40 centimeters to 55 centimeters. 55. Basically up there as the basically just knocks the Australian mask out of park, which the heaviest being 1,260 grams. Now that's heavy for now. For not true owl actually. It's basically, yeah. This owl is a lot better hunter, even though it's in a small island. Unlike the Australian version of this owl, it usually nests in, I guess, in tree hollows in the forest regions and stuff. So yeah, it basically hunts for like the Australian mask owl, and also basically, but just hunts like rabbits and small mammals. So, but may also take reptiles, small reptiles, and small birds, but mostly small animals. Hold on. Ooh, gosh. Um, man, I'm very burpy today. So yeah, they basically similar to the Australian mask owl. Also, they pretty much have exactly the same. Females are larger than males for some reason. They still got the same mind frame than the. So basically the same. Basically the same. Here comes is the Australian grass owl, or what is originally called the Eastern grass owl, but I quite like to call it the Australian grass owl, although technically speaking, it's also found in many parts of Asia. So I don't know why I call it the Australian grass owl, but that just makes easier than or more funner than Eastern grass owl. Eastern is such a lame name. I mean, but African grass owl has a lot better name than the Eastern. Eastern's like, this is an Eastern. Anyway, I'm going ahead with myself. The Asian, I should say. Asian's a lot better. Yeah, I'm going to call it Asian grass owl from now on. The Asian grass owl is smaller than the Australian mask owl, but also has also smaller than the barn owl in length in some of them. So just by 1 centimeter. So, but it is some grass owls have been taller than the barn owls. So yeah. So basically, the shortest is the 32, and the longest, or basically the tallest, is 42 centimeters. So pretty average owl. Its wing length, it's actually quite impressive, with 237 being the shortest to a whopping 360 millimeters, or something like that. Its tail length is also pretty long too, with the shortest being 114 to 139 millimeters. its weight is relatively average, small in weight, or not small, lighter in weight than the Australian Moscow and the barn owls. But here's the kicker. Females are also larger and stuff than the males, apparently. Although I haven't seen any grass owls yet, but not in the wild, in zoos. Yes. There were also only a few owls that lives on the surface. Pretty much like Athenian owls, which are little owl, the barn owl, and one other Athenian owl there are. But we will come back to them on another video. So they are nocturnal, but they do fly during the day. So you would see them during the day also. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. They basically hide in long grass during the day also, so you can't basically see them. So they mostly love the long grass, perfect breeding grounds. They also hunt in groups or in twos or threes or something like that, and they hunt in the same areas. So they just covertly fuck. Yeah, that word. Yeah, basically. Basically the same hunt in the same area at long periods of times. Hold that thought. Gosh, I'm very, very burpy today. They have a very, very hissing harshness about them. They're like, although more silent, but much more hissing, like hissing. I don't do it justice, but yeah, you can find more than once. I do find more owl sounds for what other owl sounds and many other owl sounds. So yeah, I'm still collecting more owl sounds as I'm making this video also. So you'll be hearing even more owl sounds from different owls and the same owls. But I'm getting distracted because yeah. Um, ah, they the grass owls usually hunts rats and different sort of rats actually, long-haired rats, cane rats being most common, which is weird because that's even more than the barn owls. Like they're specialized. You thought the barn owls thought they're really, really, really good hunting at mice and rats. The grass owl knocks that out of the window. They pretty much specialize in small rodents, and they are like the specialized of the specialized in the not true owl family. So yeah, and I love them for it. They actually do the fight and dive instead of perching, which is uncommon in owls. Basically, they never perch because, well, it's a grass owl and they no need for perching on trees for some reason. And that is quite saying something for an owl too, because most owls just usually do the sit and wait tactic, but grass owls don't sit or wait, they just frown, you know. So it's quite, this owl is quite special in my heart, since some of Asia has some of the most S-tier specialized hunters in the world. So good on you, grass owl. They also basically very cunning hunters, which they just which they carefully out of sight of from prey. So they carefully just circle around and then boom, catch them with the long legs, and they just. Oh, if you see some of their videos, they're just awesome to watch. I hope I will watch these guys at some point, but they are just amazing creatures. Just amazing. I mean, all owls are just amazing to watch, but these guys just like S-tier hunters. Like S-tier. Anyway, grass owls pretty much breed at any time, so yeah, be careful. But I have a lot of the websites and books and stuff say that it's mostly between March and January. So pretty much now and June, not January, June. God damn it. Yeah, they basically nest in, well, long grass or grassy type stuff. So yeah, and away from trees, so you won't find them near any trees. So yeah, and they're very hide. Yeah. I don't know if they're aggressive or not. So, but usually most owls are aggressive when they see humans. So yeah, just be really when you go through long grass in Asia, because you might bump into a grass owl. Grass owls basically have the same egg as every other owl. But the kicker is they usually have 3 to 8 eggs, which is quite impressive. And they're the most slightly more pear-shaped than any other not true owl on the planet. So if you look for a pear-shaped egg, that means it's a not true owl egg. Or yeah. And measuring from 29 to 32 millimeters eggs, as I've been looking at this now in yeah, several websites and books. Yeah, Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting lost track. Um, they're young. They're young. They're young. Um, have like a down white and golden brown type, youngish. So look for that. The fledgling is about 2 months, maybe 3, maybe 4, around that month. Sometimes 1 month, but that's unheard of, and I'm pretty much made that up, but take it as it was, yes. um, the females stop breeding them, and they walk away from the nest in high grass, usually, when they old enough. Yeah, I think. A little cloudy on that department. You can find these guys at pretty much anywhere in Asia. Pretty much Vietnam, China, Taiwan also, um, the Philippines, Vietnam, um, the southeast and far southwest of India, the coastal regions of New South Wales and Queensland, and far west on the border of Victoria and New South Wales, north, far north, in Western and Northern Territory. So yeah, pretty much in those regions. So yeah, that's basically about it for um, the Asian grass owl. So yeah, great owl, and we'd love to see this owl in the wild and observe this. So, although I have seen it in zoos and stuff. Some zoos have them, some zoos don't. So, but they just beautiful. They also have longer legs and pretty much a lot of owls. So they're pretty massive long legs. So yeah. And now onto one of my favorites owls in pretty much of all time. One of my top 10. The sooty owl, also known as the greater goosey owl, sooty owl, not goosey owl. Um, the black owl, and the dusky barn owl for some reason. Don't know why they say it's a barn owl, but doesn't look like it. Anyway, this owl is basically one of my favorites. It's both powerful, one of the unknown method hunters in the not true owl family, and in the Australia family, for that matter. For a fact, actually, it's no one, or no one so far, I should say, has ever figured out what sort of hunting technique they do. Because I don't even know what hunting technique they do. They're so cute and very tall. So let's crack rocking. Its length is basically one of the one of the big boys. So 37 to 51. That's right. 51 centimeters. Think about it. That's taller than a 2-year-old or something. Or what I'm trying to think here. Something. I don't know. It's big, okay? Not as big as the Moscows, but pretty big. And it's cute as hell. Uh, it's it's basically is is one of my favorite owls. Basically, it's cute as hell. I already mentioned that's cute. It's pretty much one of my favorite owls of all time. Pretty much top five. Yeah, and that's saying something because a lot of these owls or all owls are probably all my favorites. They're just really hard to rank. You see it later when I go to Europe, where I'm not really too big on that area yet. Well, I am, but just not S tier. I'm like an A plus area. Since anyway, I'm getting distracted. Um, it's basically similar weight to the actually it's similar to everything actually to the two Moscows. And its females are taller. Yeah, they have very. They are the most nocturnal you're gonna get from this owl. They hate humans. They love hiding in caves, crevices, and trees. But mostly caves or crevices. Most of the time. Now you're probably thinking, Tom, why haven't you covered the voices yet? Well, as you probably gather, the sooty owls have the most iconic owl in basically in Australia. They have what you call a bomb whistle, which is technically a territorial call, but they're also found in the breeding season and nesting. So they also scream at each other whenever they get into a territorial battle. So yeah. So yeah, they also have other calls as well, which I probably um probably I'm gonna cover next time I do our sounds. Yeah, yeah. One of the our sounds actually is quite similar to um a game called Spore. If you haven't heard Spore by now, go play it. It's fun as hell. Um, it's basically sounds like in I think it's the creature stage where they have like little drill noises. It's very similar to that. I wouldn't surprise if the Sims people actually copied that noise into one of their creatures. So yeah. Next is hunting and prey. Oh my goodness, I love this owl because it can eat a crap ton of mammals, birds, bats, and insects. It's probably can take on a ringtail possum, and they are quite large prey for an owl. Well, any owl really, actually. They they are up there as one of the most they love hunting big prey, big mammal prey, you know. They love them. They mostly take mammals, but they also take birds, bats, and insects, as I said before, and they love it. They love mammals. I don't know why, but they just hunt the crap out of that. Almost said the S word. Looking at you, YouTube. They do. No one knows their hunting stuff because I don't. I don't even know what they're hunting and stuff because their method is up. I don't even know. I've tried to find out. Still nothing. Books, websites, articles, anything. All of them don't know what it is. They are really very lovely owls, by the way. Shy, elusive owls, I should say. Very, very cute. Basically, anyway, basically, I give you the short version. Their breeding season is January to June. So, now to June, basically. So, yeah, they have 1 or 2 eggs per season, and that's saying something, because that's, yeah, very, very odd. Have big eggs also, and fledglings basically in about 3 months, and newly fledgling is basically up to a month, depending on the parents, apparently. Don't know why, but yeah. Their habitats, or where they live technically, I don't know, is elliptic, in elliptic epidemic forests. Gosh, I butchered the hell out of that word. Forests with big Banksia gum trees and a bunch of other trees as well. Apparently, ferns and lily pads, or lily pools, or whatever the hell that word is. They usually hunt in dense forests and stuff, but they usually roost and breeding in caves and stuff, and forests, but mostly caves and also. They also cute and cuddling. You can find these owls in the on the island of Papua New Guinea Island, or New Guinea Island, or Timor Island, whatever the hell island. They're basically mainly on there, but you can. But in Australia, they're mostly in the coastal region, like the eastern part of Australia. Usually near the bottom half of far North Queensland. So that's, yeah. They are also rare and endangered. So if you spot them, make sure you give them lots of love. And yeah, they're amazing now, and I love them very, very, very much. I guess it's such a cute as hell, silver, and basically the same. The only difference is that they have a similar cause to their predecessor, who's also cute as hell, and yeah, they basically like the same, except the lesser sooty owl is basically smaller, very small, and basically the females are basically tall and more funny looking than the males. Actually, a lot of them are actually. Quite a thing. Why did I say this was a rare thing to? You know what? Forget anything I said. Females are uncommon to have an owl being tall. Forget about that. Anyway, they pretty much are the same owl, except one's in the tropical forest and one's just basically everywhere. Except this is an actual Australian owl. The sooty owl lives on the Papua New Guinea side of things. This is an actual Australian owl in far north Queensland. It also has less information for some reason. I don't know why. But they're also cute as hell. They're pretty much the same, I guess. And also, I think I got mixed up with sounds also. The lesser sooty owl has, or the silver owl, or silver sooty owl has pretty much got the spore vocals also. So a bit of a mix up there, but they're pretty much the same owls. But yeah, they as time is writing this, or not writing, looking, both sooty owls now have a stable, I think stable, hold on, let me check. Yes, stable population now. They were than they used to many years ago. They also have a cute. What the hell am I doing? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so basically these are pretty much similar, except this is mainly a tropical type owl, usually in grasslands and stuff, you know. They basically the same, basically, except one's living far north, like near the tip, and the other one is basically nowhere near the tip. So yeah, that's the only difference. And they are Australia raised, so yeah. Love the owl. Yeah, so that's it.